Greetings and welcome to the first episode of the American University of Ras Al Khaimah podcast, your dedicated platforms for bridging academia with the corporate world. I'm your host, Ghadah Shalaby, and I'll be guiding you through conversations that uncover the connection between business and academia, and our conversations with thought leaders and pioneers that shape the future of education. In this episode, our first episode titled Global Educational Harmony, we will be shifting our attention to the global aspect of education and how do higher educational institutions and universities in particular use those challenges and opportunities as a way to shape the future generations. Joining us in the studio today, Dr. David Andrew Schmidt, President of the American University of Ras Al Khaimah. Welcome, Dr. David.
Thank you so much. The first episode, I feel very honored.
Oh, and we are very honored to have you. All right. So let's start with the global perspectives in education. How can universities incorporate global perspectives into their educational programs? And from your point of view, what initiatives do you think AURAK could be taking to achieve that?
It's a wonderful question. Thank you. I think the way you described it and positioned it, it really details it. It's a challenge, and it has been a challenge for a long time, but it's also a wonderful opportunity. For universities who are looking to become global, and for the most part, yes, almost all universities are looking to become global in scope and design, you have to start, in my humble opinion, with the faculty and the curriculum. Your curriculum has to be global. It has to be international. And there is a small, slight distinction between global and international I might touch upon later. So the easiest way to do it, however it's quite a challenge, is to look for wonderful global/international faculty to come onto your, they are the practitioners of your curriculum. They influence and create your curriculum. And of course, they have that wonderful impact and influence upon the students who come to your university. Mm-hmm. So if your faculty are global and international, for the most part, your university will start moving towards becoming truly global. The other thing is that you have to have programs in place to promote global education, global thought practices. And in particular, and this is where I think it's the most wonderful opportunity for young people to come to a university where you have the opportunity to go abroad. Because once you graduate, whether you're an undergraduate student or a graduate student, life starts. And you may not have that opportunity. In particular, there's a huge difference between, we're going to run down to Dubai, jump on an airplane, and go to Rome as tourists. Yeah. It's very different when you spend a semester there as a student. You have an ability to really absorb, taste, and learn more about the culture.
You're really immersed in it.
You really are. Yeah. And whether you're learning Italian, you're learning about Renaissance art, or about the culture, it's the time, and it's such a wonderful opportunity. So if universities can make that opportunity affordable, part of the curriculum so it doesn't disrupt the 4-year program, and of course, I think the best way to do it is to make it an expectation. You can make 2 types of tracks in a program. You can say you can go into this track, which is the traditional track of 4 years on campus, or you can make it where one of your opportunities is to go for a semester or a year abroad. You come back, those credits come back, there's no additional cost other than the airfare there, and you come back and you finish up in 4 years. It can be done, but it takes a lot of strategic planning and implementation of programs on behalf of a university. AURAK, of course, is a rather young institution, but I would say we would go up against any university globally as far as being truly global, because if you look at our faculty, the heart and core of this institution, they're truly global.
Yes,
truly are.
100%. And I think we're blessed being located in the UAE, where it's such a diverse country already. So it's not very hard to find that, mix of cultures, whether it be faculty or students. And then on top of that, people who come directly from their countries to study in the UAE and in AURAK. All right. So let's move on to cultural intelligence in higher education. In the context of higher education, how important is cultural intelligence? Of course, very important. But what strategies can the university employ to develop that competency in the students that study here?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think one place where universities perhaps tend to fall behind is that touch point with industry, always being aware of what do they want their graduates who are going to be joining their companies or their organizations to know. And we often hear this phrase, which I sometimes bristle at, is that, you're going to graduate and enter the real world. Well, let's be honest. I mean, the university is the real world. This is very much a real world. And in fact, this campus, which you've spent time at, is amazingly diverse.
Yes.
So the cultural intelligence, the cultural sensitivity that you get here simply prepares you to be a better employee when you go work at a multinational university or multinational company. And it may not be as diverse where you end up working.
100%. And I think that's the expectation that the students have while applying for a university. They want to be prepared for their work life ahead of that, instead of, joining a university where, okay, I'm studying here, but then I graduate and everything I do at my job then is so different.
Right.
And I'm not, exposed enough to the world around me.
And they kind of hunger for it and they look for it.
Yeah.
But that's a wonderful part of ambition. If your university is truly diverse, and back to the comment that you had made is, yes, we are very blessed to be here in the UAE, because it's not just initially when I came to the United Arab Emirates 4.5 years ago, it was already diverse, but it's becoming more and more of this wonderful magnet that welcomes and embraces this amazing sense of diversity. I, as a American male, am very pleased to know that I am I think maybe one of 2 or 3 here on campus. And the rest, it's like being at the UN, the United Nations.
Yeah.
And that is, it fulfills me with an amazing, I'm exposed to so much, different thoughts, different opinions. I have great discussions. When I'm in the United States, I hang out with like-minded people who are very much like me, and I love the diversity here. I think our students benefit from it. They become better global citizens, and that's really what we're doing, is we're training them to become global citizens.
They really get to see things from different points of view, which, would be absent if everyone around you are like-minded.
But I think that's why it's so wonderful to have these faculty. We have faculty who are educated in the UK, the United States, Brazil, Jordan, all coming here to campus, all impacting the students in the classroom. And that has a profound effect. It does. And all you have to do is look at the student who didn't have that and the student who does, and talk to them the day after graduation. And 100%. You'll be amazed at the maturity level, the sense of empathy, curiosity, critical thinking skills that these students have.
Yeah, very true. All right. So when it comes to international collaboration in research, how do universities encourage and facilitate international collaboration in research, and how does AURAK do that?
Another great question. This is where in particular, I think you have to take stock of what kind of an institution you are. And what you're looking for now, especially because the world has changed at such a rapid pace, especially post-COVID, is you take stock of who you are, what you are, and then you look for like-minded partners. Now, AURAK, we are a small, student-centered university. Amazing faculty that also are expected to do and do research. So we look for like-minded partners. We don't want to have 300 partnerships because they're not going to be very active. We are not a university of 20,000 students. We just aren't. So we look for like-minded partners that complement our design, our mission, and that will be great places for us to do student exchanges and great places for us to do faculty exchanges. Obviously, because we are the American University of Ras Al Khaimah, some of those partnerships will be in the United States. So because I'm relatively new here, I think I'm entering my sixth month as the president, we are evaluating our partnerships and we're looking for new partnerships. And once again, it's that focus of where can our students go to study abroad that complements their majors. That will be an added kind of cherry on top. And where our faculty can reach out and do a semester or summer teaching, and we in turn can take some of their faculty here. If we have, at the end of the day, and perhaps a year or 2 years from now, 5 very strong partnerships in Europe, South America, Asia, Northern Eastern Asia, and then Southern Asia, Southeast Asia, and of course in the United States, maybe 2 or 3, that will be a wonderful portfolio for us.
100%. All right. Those were great answers, and we're getting to the end of the podcast. But one last question.
Certainly.
You said so many initiatives that we take and so many steps that we take as a university to ensure that there's this global perspective and cross-cultural harmony and all of that. What do you think is missing, maybe, or we could be introducing in the near future?
I'll hearken back to the comment that I made about the expectation. So I think, and I speak from experience here, when I was an undergraduate student, I had the opportunity to study abroad. And it had a really profound impact upon my life because it made me now into a global nomad. I travel. I think the other day I was working on something, and my wife and I decided that it was a presentation I was supposed to give, and I was supposed to talk about where I'd been in my life, and I've been blessed many times by being able to travel. And we counted the countries that I've been able to visit, and not counting airports where you pass through. That doesn't count. I think it was 68 different countries in my life that I've been able to visit and spend time in. And I've been very fortunate. What I've done in most of those countries is I will sit and observe and try to learn. And you learn so much by just observing people. I think students want that. They worry about finances. And in fact, if you look at, I'll just give you a quick study of, or a quick statistic in the United States is, if you ask high school seniors who are going to go to university, do you want to study abroad? Would you like that opportunity? I know you're going to this university. It's upwards to 90% that say yes. But at the end of the day, 5 to 6% go abroad. Is it their mistake or the university's? The structure isn't in place to properly facilitate it. So what I would like to see, and what I think AURAK can do, is to create those 2 tracks. Your major is architecture. Wonderful. You can go this course, which is 4 years, 4.5, 5 years, or you can go this course, which has a component of study abroad. And we've vetted the institution. You can go and do Rome architecture, or you can go to the United States and do architecture. And this would be the additional cost for the flights. If it's that expectation and most of the hard work is done by the institution to vet and to make sure the curriculum is up to snuff, up to par, it's a wonderful opportunity. And universities are looking at doing that. It is, once again, to use the word that you used in the introduction, it's a challenge. But the benefits at the end benefit not just the educational institution, because we have then better qualified and better alumni. It kind of repeats itself. They support this. But it also gives our graduates a better reputation when they're hired by those employees. And they say,
100%.
These AURAK graduates are amazing. They're so global. They have this empathy. They have cultural competency,
It will be a positive stereotype about students graduating from AURAK.
Would be wonderful. I mean, I think right now, look, I've worked at 8 or 9 different universities in my life. This is my 34th year in higher ed. And I would put an AURAK graduate up against any of the institutions I worked at. I am so impressed with them. When I first came here, one of my requests was to talk to students. And I remember walking in actually to this very building the first time I came to campus, and I saw a bunch of students, and I just started chatting with them and talking to them. And I'm constantly impressed by the maturity and the just really academic skills that these students have. So.
Well, as an AURAK alumna myself, I'm very proud to have graduated from here.
I was going to say something about yourself, but I didn't want to embarrass you.
Oh, no, that's okay.
And I know
I'm
you
very
would be
proud.
You would be very humble. No, that it really is an amazing institution. There's no doubt. I mean, nestled up here in the beautiful emirate of Ras Al Khaimah.
Yes.
If I may say, the most beautiful emirate by far.
I totally agree.
It wasn't just the university
totally
that drew me. It was the mountains in the distance, the sea just over here. It's really a beautiful
very
place.
calming, very nice.
It is.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It was amazing and such insightful comments.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And stay tuned for the next episode.